Let me ask you something that nobody around you has the guts to ask. When was the last time you did something that actually scared you? Not skydiving, not watching a horror movie. I mean something that mattered, something that made your hand shake because it was real, a conversation you kept putting off, an application you kept closing before you hit submit, a life you kept imagining but never started living. I'll wait. Because here's what I've figured out, and I say this with love. Your comfort zone is not protecting you. It is slowly, quietly, and politely killing everything you were meant to become, the setup. I want to talk to you about a drug. It's the most widely used substance on the planet. It requires no prescription. Your parents gave it to you. Your school gave it to you. Society handed it to you and called it a reward. It's called comfort. And listen, comfort feels good. That's the whole problem. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people consistently overestimate how much they'll regret taking risks and underestimate how much they'll regret playing it safe. Read that again. We fear the leap. But what actually haunts us, what wakes us up at 3 a.m., is a life we didn't go after. Psychologist Bronnie Ware spent years as a palliative care nurse. She sat with hundreds of people in the final weeks of their lives and asked them what they regretted most. The number one answer across the board was this: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Not one person said, I wish I'd stayed safer. The turn failed big. Now here's where I need you to stay with me, because what I'm about to say sounds wrong at first. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the path to it. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided failure. They are the ones who failed faster and bigger than everyone else. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television. Walt Disney was fired from his first newspaper job because his editor said he lacked imagination. Walt Disney lacked imagination. Here's the data. A study out of Northwestern University tracked scientists and entrepreneurs over decades and found that those who experienced significant early failure but kept going ultimately outperformed people who succeeded right away. The ones who failed and kept going had a 20% greater rate of future success than those who coasted on early wins. 20%. Your failure is not a sign that you picked the wrong path. It might be the clearest sign that you're on the right one. I remember sitting somewhere I had no business sitting in, going nowhere, watching my GPR implode, watching my peers get ahead while I stood still. And the scariest part wasn't the failure itself. It was how comfortable I'd gotten with it, how familiar the ceiling felt, how I'd started decorating it like it was my home. Don't do that. Don't make peace for the life that's too small for you. The core, your goals, ARE, not enough without your discipline. Here's something else nobody tells you when they talk about chasing your dreams. Dreams without goals are just dreams. And goals without discipline are just wishes. Let me break that down. A 2015 Dominican University study found that people who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them than those who didn't. 42%. That's the difference between New Year's talk and New Year's results. A pen and a piece of paper. But here's the thing people miss. It's not about having a goal. It's about building the daily system that moves you toward it. Yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. Some days your goal is just to do the one hard thing you've been avoiding. Don't confuse movement with progress. You can run in place all day and never get anywhere. Are you busy? Or are you building? If this is hitting home, if you're sitting there recognizing yourself in any of this, hit subscribe. Because every week on this channel, we are going to go deeper into the conversations that actually matter for your life. Not just motivation that fades by Monday, real applicable truth. Hit subscribe and turn the notification bell on. This community is for you. The shift, comfort is a slow death. Here's the uncomfortable science. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman and researchers at Stanford have studied what happens to the human brain in prolonged periods of low challenge. When you stop doing hard things, your brain's dopamine baseline, your baseline level of satisfaction and drive drops. You literally become less motivated over time by doing less. Comfort creates complacency. Complacency creates stagnation. And stagnation over years and decades hollers you out until one day you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person looking back. I've talked to 30-year-olds who feel 60 inside, people who have every external mark of a good life, decent job, comfortable apartment, something to post on Instagram, and feel absolutely nothing when they get quiet. Not sadness, worse than sadness. Numbness. That numbness is what happens when you stop chasing the version of yourself that scares you. You were not built for the couch. You were not built for the safe bet. You were built for the thing that makes your heart race when you even think about it. That desire, that itch you can't scratch, that is not an accident. That is information. That is your life trying to tell you something. True desire in your heart for anything good is the universe's way of showing you what is already yours. The question is whether you're brave enough to go get it. The solution, fall forward. So what do you actually do? First, identify the one thing you've been delaying because it's uncomfortable. One thing. Not 10. One. The email you haven't sent. The class you haven't enrolled in. The conversation you've been dreading. Write it down. Second, do it badly. I mean that. Permission to do it badly. The first podcast episode doesn't have to be perfect. The first workout doesn't have to be pretty. The first conversation doesn't have to go smoothly. You just have to start in the direction of the life you want. Third, find your people. Research from Harvard's 80-year study on adult development, the longest study on happiness ever conducted, found that the single most important predictor of a fulfilled life is not wealth, not fame, not achievement. It's the quality of your relationships. Who you surround yourself with will either push you forward or quietly confirm all your excuses. Choose accordingly. And finally, when you fall, and you will fall forward. Not backward into the same comfortable spot that never asked anything of you. Forward. Every stumble, every failed attempt, every rejection letter, and bad performance review and embarrassing moment, it all counts for you if you let it. Your life is not going to be a straight line. Nobody's is. The path is crooked and messy and sometimes terrifying, but it belongs to you. And what you do with what you have, not what others have, not what you wish you had, that is where your story gets written. You are 25 or 28 or 33. And I know that can feel like it's too late to start over, too late to change direction, too late to become the person you imagined when you were younger and still believe in the version of yourself that could do anything. It is not too late. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So here's what I need you to do. Tonight, before you fall asleep, I want you to ask yourself one question: what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And then ask yourself the harder one: what would I do even if I knew I might? That second answer, that's where your purpose lives. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference. Work hard. Apply discipline. Stay consistent. And when the comfort creeps back in, and it will, remember this: nobody ever looked back on a full life and said, I wish I'd played it safer. If this video meant something to you, share it with one person in your life who needs to hear it. One person. And drop in the comments, what is the one thing you've been putting off that you're committing to today? I read every single one. Hit like if this hit home. Subscribe so you never miss a week. And remember, comfort is killing your potential, but only if you let it.